Today, what we're talking about is purpose and profit. If you attended some of our events in the end of the year and in early January, they're more businessy focused, demand generation, authentic selling, and all of that is a big part of what we teach and believe and how to scale your business. This particular session is really how do you balance purpose and profit. Again, 50% of all businesses that have been started in the last 5 years, that's a global number. In North America, we believe it's higher. 50% of all businesses are designed to be at the center of purpose and profit, or what I like to say is meaning and money. And this is going to give you some wisdom as somebody who's been on this journey for a long time. How do you actually balance purpose and profit? We have a couple of other events coming up. On January 28th is Success Accelerator. That is a focus and mindset toolkit that you train your brain and your nervous system to be in alignment with your goals. So you're welcome to attend that. All of our events, all of our public events are free. There's no catch. We're just here to teach conscious founders how to grow. And then on February 4th is one you do not want to miss. That is authentic selling. It is one of the things that we're known for, which is how do you really provide value so you have a lot of leads that are interested in what you're doing, but you never feel like you're selling. And so that's on February 4th. Lisa will put the link to register for those events. Again, there's no catch. You can attend as many of our training events as you want to. You can also visit our YouTube page and see a lot of those training events as well. If you don't know what ShiftCo is, quite simply, we train conscious entrepreneurs how to grow your business and maximize your impact. And 88.9% of the founders using ShiftCo double their revenue, and that's across all business sizes. ShiftCo serves everybody from 0 up to 10 million in annual revenue. And so our members are having great success, and we have a 97% retention rate each month. So that's just a little bit about us. I have the best job ever because I get to lead this amazing organization. And my background is I've had multiple large exits. And what that means is I've built companies and sold them, including one that was a NASDAQ IPO. And then in 2009, I started over with this crazy idea. There has to be a way to do good and make money. And I built a purposeful Shark Tank called Share on Purpose. And we do two things. We invest in conscious businesses. Your Izzy is an example of that. It's the first zero waste makeup and skincare line. Absolutely love the product, absolutely love the founder. And it's one of our favorite investments. And then we also create companies. We've had several. These are all going concerns, all viable. I've got a great team of employees that run those, which allows me to spend the majority of my time in ShiftCo, which really fulfills my passion to help conscious founders. So enough about us, but as you can see, this balancing purpose and profit, I have been on this journey since 2009. So a long time I've been doing this conscious business thing. And when I first started, I thought it was going to be easy. Oh, I'm building a purposeful Shark Tank. Who doesn't need that, right? And we had no problem wanting people wanting people to come to us and finding them who wanted us to invest. No problem with that. The problem was this balance between focusing on growth and profit and focusing on meaning and purpose. And this is a tricky balance. It was much harder than I thought it would be. And so I would like, I always like to get the folks involved in thinking about it. So one of the questions I always ask is kind of why does it seem hard? I'll tell you while you're dropping in the chat, Lisa will be my voice Vanna and she'll share your ideas on this. But what I found is most people that start a purposeful or a meaningful business, they struggle with the sales and marketing side and they feel like it's inauthentic. And I felt the same thing. I felt like, oh, I used to be good at growing businesses, but now I'm doing this purposeful thing and it just didn't feel genuine and authentic. Second is that you have to make decisions very differently when you're trying to balance these two. So that's what I uncovered. I also found that that building a purposeful business kind of pushed my imposter syndrome and almost like fear of success. And I really found that a lot of the things that used to not bother me now started to bother me when I was doing business in this way. So, Lisa, what are some of the other reasons why people are finding it hard to balance purpose and profit and meaning and money?
Must everybody must be shy still yet. Nothing coming in yet.
Feel free to share because you may have the same experience or you may have a different one. But for me, the biggest was the sales and marketing. I just struggled to really make that authentic.
All right,
Any
so we
other
have yeah, clients have shared the fear of being perceived as greedy, like or let's see, I think that's the only one there.
And let's go forward. What kinds of things have you tried in this area? I'll give you an example. Again, I'm a growth strategist. Marketing and sales has been my entire career. I'm 60 years old, so I've been doing the sales and marketing thing for a long time. And the reason why I sold my last business in 2008 was because I was growing things that didn't matter. And I started over going, hey, I'm a growth expert. It's going to be easy. And what I found is that buyers don't buy the same way when you're doing business authentically. And I'm going to say that again, and feel free to drop in the chat your experience. But the way that I would market when I was growing one of my other companies is I would run ads. I had a funnel. I had lead magnets. I had all of these things that were all designed to get someone to buy. And what I found in purposeful business or what's called conscious business is buyers smell that. They can smell it a mile away. They can tell that they're it's a lead magnet. They can tell when they're in a funnel. They can tell when it's a squeeze page, like all of these very inauthentic things. And so what I found is most of the marketing techniques that I had built, this 45 years of my life, I had dedicated it to marketing and grow, or, I was 45 when I started this purposeful business. Most of the things that I had learned how to do my whole career for decades didn't work anymore because buyers didn't respond. When you're in the conscious business space and you're attracting clients in authentic ways and talking about purpose and meaning and the reason why your business exists, they don't buy the same way. So I don't know if what you guys have experienced or if anybody else has any other experiences. Any other notes coming in, Lisa?
Yeah, let's see. One, analytical thinkers and emotional thinkers and creative thinkers all have trouble sitting in the same room and having conversations with each other. Um, what else do we have here? Getting your product or service out in the world in a way that resonates, understanding true value.
Oh, that value is huge. I'm going to talk about.
Yeah, yeah, difficult to ask for what my business is worth. That's in the same line. Exposing yourself and talking about spiritual has been, seen as on the fringe. Hard to create metrics for when it comes to people who like to talk numbers, and there are things that are hard to put a number to.
All
The
great. And
value of
we're going to cover many of those things. So great job. Keep putting the things in there. And so here was my experience. So again, I sold my last business in 2008. I started over in 2009, and I'm like, hey, I still want to make money and I'm going to do meaningful thing. This meaningful money was my mantra. The problem is we have been taught to believe that there is an or between these two. And even though I sold a very successful business and had plenty of money, in my mind, I believed that I could either do meaningful work or have financial success. And as a result of that, I almost treated my business like a nonprofit, quite honestly. And I was so focused on the meaning that I wasn't really looking at it as a business. And then lo and behold, I failed and failed and failed and failed. It was very painful. And all of a sudden, I had this realization that it's not an or, it's an and. And this is such a simple concept, but the rewiring of our brain that there's a lot of push towards financial success. Lots of people going, I'll show you how to have a seven-figure business and I'll help you with click funnels and lead magnets and all this kind of stuff. They're going to push you to that side. And then there are other people that are going to push you to the other side. You need to do things that are purposeful and meaningful. And what they're saying when they do that is they're saying that there's an or between these two. And if you subconsciously believe that this is an or, you will consciously act incongruently and not bring these things together. So the first most important thing is I want you to realize that there is an and between these two. They must be equally balanced. What do I mean by that? Is you can't just be out there talking about the meaningful things that you're doing. You have to treat it like a business. Conversely, you can't just treat it like a business. You have to figure out how to bring the purpose and meaning. And it's almost like it's a, rather than being a 90%, 10% one way or the other, it's more like 51-49. And the 51% is on the meaning and purpose, and the 49 is on the financial success and profit. And so, what I'm going to share with you today is how I make this every day today. All of our businesses are profitable. How do I make this every day of our businesses be an and not an or? And I'm going to give you my strategy. So, it's 5 things around this concept of meaningful money. Number one is it's still a business. And if you're not treating it like a business, you will not be successful. And I cannot tell you how many times I've seen this. Somebody that has just a huge purpose and a huge calling on their life, and they're so focused on the purpose that they don't treat it like a business. By the way, that was me for the first 4 to 5 years. It's still a business, and you have to put the business mechanics in place. Now, it matters more, which is the part that I love, but it's still a business. And I'm going to go deeper into all 5 of these. So, and walk through it. So what do I mean by it's still a business? One, it must generate a profit. Maybe not the first year, but it must generate a profit. And if you do not know how to get your business from where it is today to profitability, if you don't know what that means, stop and figure that out first. Because if you don't generate a profit, there's not going to be an opportunity for you to make a difference. It still needs to grow. And by the way, on this generating a profit, my favorite conscious business attorney, which seems like an oxymoron, has a phrase, and he says, no money, no mission, no money, no mission, no money, no mission. And man, his words just hit me at the right time. So you really need to understand, how does my business generate a profit, and how do I increase my profit so that I can do more purposeful and impactful things? The second part is it still needs to grow. The way that you increase your impact is you grow your business. It's one of the reasons why the majority of the free trainings that we do are on authentic marketing and authentic selling. You still need to grow the business. And what you want is you want things like what we see today. There are 27 of us here today. I think 4 or 5 of you are ShiftCo members, and the rest of you, you either have heard of ShiftCo and you've come back, or this is your first time. That doesn't mean you're going to buy. It just means that you're interested in the topic and you are now exposed to what it is that we do. So you need to have a strategy so that you have what we have here today, where we have a lot of people on here, over 20 of you, where you are either hearing about ShiftCo for the first time, or you like what we do. More than likely, leads that we have tell other people about ShiftCo. And so that idea, you need to know how to grow your business, is paramount. And we must master all the business stuff. You cannot be successful in conscious business unless you know that businessy stuff. Now, again, it's not an or. And what I see with conscious businesses is we kind of want to write off this whole Wall Street and business stuff and, this greedy, yucky stuff. We want to write it off. But there's a balance between these two. And what I'm hoping to do today is to show you what that balance is. So that's number one, is it's still a business. It just matters more. And you have to treat it like a business. Number two is because it matters to us doesn't mean it matters to your buyer. This was also very hard for me to get because when I first started, I was talking, my purpose is to inspire potential. And I was, all this flowery language that meant zero to anybody. And the first year, it was like crickets, nobody was showing up for anything. I would do an event. There was like one person that was there that knew me. And it was very, very frustrating because what I was talking about is what mattered to me, not what mattered to the buyer. So I'm going to show you that. And what we mean by that, value matters. I think somebody said that in the chat. Value matters in conscious business, and it matters a lot. So, because we want to use our business as a force for good, and we're driven to use our business to make the world better, we want to be a vehicle to solve important problems. And several of you, when you introduce yourself, you talked about, your why. What I want to show you is I want you to start talking about the problems that you solve, not your why. What I did is I was out there talking about why I did this and, oh, check me out. I've got this purposeful Shark Tank. And nobody cared until I shifted my language and I started talking about the problems that I solved. Because none of those reasons, I wanted to do good in the world, I wanted to prove that this purposeful business was a better way to go. None of those reasons cause people to be interested or cause them to buy from us. It's got to be about them. And the value formula that we teach, it works like this. What are the benefits of what it is that you do divided by the cost? So how you figure out what your value is first of all, you need to know, first, most important thing, who and where is your target market? If you cannot answer that question, stop. You really need to figure that out. Secondly, you need to know their problem, not what you do, not why you do it, but what is their problem. Three is you want to really understand the benefits that your target market wants and will pay for. One of the common challenges that I see in conscious businesses is they give so much away and they're doing all this free stuff. I'm doing this for free and that for free. That is, although there's a time and place for that, it is very dangerous when you don't have a strategy to make that pay off for you, because all you're doing is running around and doing free stuff, not what you want to do. You can do free stuff, like these are free events, there's no catch. But the way in which we do these and the way in which we teach people to do these is you should get an ROI from the free stuff that you're doing. So that is key. And we call this a high value equation. A high value equation is when your business grows organically from referrals and customers stay and buy again. That's what is known as a high value equation. One of the things we do with our ShiftCo members is we help you create a business model that has a high value equation. What you want to do is kind of give yourself a little test. Do you know who your target market is? And do you know where they are? Because you have to go to them. Secondly, can you clearly articulate their problem? And third is, are you talking in terms of the benefits that you offer rather than what you do or what your purpose is? So that's what we call the value piece. And at the end, we'll stop and see if there's any questions. Number three, there is no silver bullet. There is no easy fix, period. Stop looking for it. Stop looking for the quick fix lottery ticket in any business. It doesn't exist. It certainly does not exist in conscious business. So what do I mean by that? It's not a quick fix. It is going to take effort. This is also one of the things that conscious founders struggle with is they want people to just come to them magically, and they don't realize it takes effort. Before we could get 28 people to come to a webinar, which, usually we have anywhere from 20 to 70 per webinar. Before we could do that, it took a lot of trial and error. In the beginning, it wasn't the attendance that we have today. So there's a lot of trial and error that goes into it. And so often people quit because it's hard and they think that it should be easy. It's not easy and it's not a quick fix. There's a ton of trial and error. And the thing that we spend the most time with is helping people get uncomfortable and pushing them past their comfort zone so that they're willing to do what it takes to grow their business. Now, if I want to bring that back to purpose for just a second, I want you to think for a second about why you're building your business and why does your business matter? For me, I can answer that really clearly. One is I've made so many mistakes as a conscious entrepreneur that I am driven to support founders in not making those same mistakes. All of these lessons I'm sharing with you today are all failures that I had. So you've got to know why you're doing it and you have to know why it matters. That gets me up every single day. I go to bed thinking about how to grow conscious businesses. I wake up thinking about how to grow conscious businesses. It is in my DNA. I was born to do this. But the problem is when we focus only on our why and we make the business be the vehicle for the why, we really miss what purpose is all about. There was a great book that came out around the time that I started the Purposeful Shark Tank, and it was called The Purpose Economy. And one of the things that the author said in the book was that purpose is a verb. It's the action that you're taking to make a difference in the world. Now, what does that have to do with you? What it has to do with you is you should be out there living your purpose, being your purpose, and your purpose should be about the impact that you're making, not about talking about the flowery language. Second is I believe that we're born to fulfill this, and I feel like purpose is something we can't not do. Like I can't not do this; I have to do it. The other thing about purpose is it increases your resiliency and dedication. This is how I discovered very quickly when we were investing in conscious businesses who really was purposeful and who wasn't, is based on their resiliency and dedication. And then lastly is it's not a quick fix. It is going to take you time to learn. It is not like, all of that stuff that advertises quick fixes to you. And if you just buy this one thing, you're going to be there. That's BS. It doesn't work that way. There are things you're going to have to learn. You're going to be tested. And you really have to stay in the action of your purpose. It's not just a phrase. It's not just a thing that makes you feel good. It should be something you're taking action on a regular basis. Okay, so here are some of the things you have to figure out. This is not something that this has been around for a long time, but this is, I think, very relevant. As most of the time people are like, oh, I love it and I'm great at it, but they forget that the world needs it and they forget that you also have to be paid for it. Purpose is at the heart of these four things. You're part of what you have to figure out is how to talk about your business in a way that it resonates with your buyer. And you also have to talk about how do you actually get paid for what it is that you do. Most people are fine here and most people are fine here, but they struggle with these two. So you really need to figure out how to talk about your business in terms of what people need and also how to talk about your business so that you'll be paid to do it. So that's number 3. Number 4 is focus. Discipline is the key to destiny. If you want to have a purposeful business, you've got to learn how to focus and you also have to learn how to be disciplined. Do not try to start a conscious business if you're not willing to learn focus and discipline. It's just not going to work. And I really do believe that winning is really about focus. And I believe focus is the key to mastering the game of business. Now, what do I mean by that? Focus requires 3 things from you. Number 1, you have to know what to focus on. There are millions of things that you need to learn, only a couple that you need to master. So you really need to know of those couple of things that I need to master, what do I really need to focus on? Second is you're going to have to develop focus skills. I just don't believe you can be successful in business without it. But it is something you can learn. And then third is you really need some accountability. Everybody needs accountability. I need accountability. All founders need accountability. So you need to have like an accountability partner in it with you that can hold you accountable because unlike a job, in a job, our boss holds us accountable, our CEO holds us accountable. When you're a founder, you hold yourself accountable. And if you don't have that ability to stay focused and to hold yourself accountable, and if you don't have somebody to hold you accountable, it's not going to work. So those are the three areas of focus that you're going to need. And the way that you really figure that out is to say, okay, what do I want? I want my business to generate X revenue, or I want to have X number of clients by this period of time. And then I'm going to teach you a methodology called LEAP. And we're going to do it together because this is a game changer. And so I know what I want. I've set a goal for the month of January. I have a goal for each month. So I know what I want. And the first thing that I'm going to do, the first step in this is to clear your energy. And I want you guys to do this with me. The way that that works is it's three steps. And Lisa, I think there's a little guide or there's a blog or something you can drop in that has these in there, if you wouldn't mind putting that in. So the first thing that you do to clear your energy is and keep yourself on mute so you can do this. You say the truth is I feel and whatever comes up comes up. So if I said this right now, I'd say the truth is I feel tired because I didn't sleep very well last night. So the truth is I feel tired. And then you're just going to pause for about 20 seconds. So do that with me. The truth is I feel whatever comes up, no judgment, and then pause. Now, if you're paying attention, you probably noticed your mind start to slow down. The reason is your amygdala just got reset. The amygdala is the part of your brain that's just on overdrive, running, fear-based, the world's out to get me, all that stuff. Can I do it? When you say the truth is I feel, the amygdala kind of starts to downshift, fifth gear, fourth gear, third gear, second, and then it goes into a pause. Now, the second step in this first step of clearing and clearing these programs is take 4 breaths. So do that with me, in through the nose and out of the mouth. Breath 1. And just pause. Notice how you're feeling. Notice how your blood pressure starts to come down. Breath 2, same thing, just a little deeper, in through the nose and out of your mouth. You might notice you're feeling a little lightheaded. What's happening is your parasympathetic nervous system is turning on and it's dropping in dopamine and serotonin, which is a good thing. And breath number 3, a little deeper. And then breath 4, I'd like to do an ah. Ah. And then just rest for a second. Notice how much calmer you feel. And then the third step in clearing these programs is just claim a new empowering belief. So I usually say I have the power to create what I want. And I remind myself of that. And so whatever you want to say, you can use that. You can go, I'm a money magnet, I'm a purpose queen, whatever you want, doesn't matter. But what you're doing is you're programming the part of your brain that's running you called the amygdala. You're programming it with a new belief. And the new belief is I can do this. Lindsey Vaughn's, hers is I can. Serena Williams, hers is yes. And so great athletes have, something that they say on a regular basis. I'm a money magnet. So you're kind of programming yourself to believe what it is that you want to believe. And let me just take that off of there. So now what we've done is we've reset the amygdala and we've cleared the negativity. Now you're going to move yourself into the present moment. And I want you to go off of camera and do this with me. because this is a game changer. Hopefully, you'll be able to see me on the screen. Just trust me on this, it'll be worth it. So I want you to stand up. This is worth it. It's a little trick, and you're welcome to use this at parties because people love it. Just give me credit for it. So most of the time, our thoughts and our feelings and energy is not present. We're worried about the future. We're worried about the past, especially in the times that we're in right now. Lisa, there's somebody that needs to go on mute. We're worried about the future, especially with all the things that are happening right now, or wow, the past is catching up with me. And so what I want you to do is kind of point to the future in front of you, feel how that feels, point to the past behind you. Now really pay attention to how you're feeling. Point to the future again. For most people, depending on what's happening in their life, the future feels very uncertain. Now point to the past. If you have negative things in the past, it'll feel like the monkey on your back. If you had great things in your past, it's not too bad. The problem is that orientation, what is called a horizontal orientation, is not how time works. Now stay standing because you'll love this. I want you to just shift it up. I'm standing on my past. It is the rock on which I stand. The mistakes that I made, the failures that I had, the relationships that didn't work, the money I lost, the challenges that I have. I'm standing on my past. Feel the past underneath you. It feels totally different. Notice how your body immediately moves into the present when you put the past underneath you. And then last but not least, if you lift your hands, I'm going to sit down so you can see this. If you lift your hands straight up and lift your head up like this, palms up, the future is up here. So when I do this, and I do this every day, and I reorient time, I'm not worried about all the crazy stuff that's happening in the world. I don't like it, but I'm not worried about it because I'm centered in a vertical orientation. I'm growing into my future. I'm becoming the person I'm meant to be. I'm becoming the business owner and CEO I'm meant to be. I'm growing into it because I'm standing on my past. And if you did that with me, it feels totally different. So that's the second step. And when you do these first two steps, what you've really done is you've aligned yourself to claim whatever it is that you want. So now I'm feeling in this total alignment. Now I'm like, here's my goal this month. And then you simply move yourself into a state of certainty. Now, the trick with state of certainty, as founders, we are usually not in a state of certainty, but what you can do simply is find a state song. We don't have time to do that today. Find a song that you absolutely love, claim your desire, step 3, put that song on and just start moving to that song, and you will find that your body moves into a state of certainty. So this is how you can achieve your goals, is following these 4 steps. And you're welcome to take a picture of this on the screen. This is methodology that I'm known for in one of my other businesses. We use it in Shipco. It's very powerful. And it moves you into a state of certainty if you follow all 4 steps. And you have to do the steps in this order. Trust me, I've tested this with thousands and thousands of people. You have to do the steps in this order, but you only have to do it like twice a day. It only takes you about 5 to 7 minutes, depending on the song that you choose. Just do it just like I said. You'll move yourself into a state of certainty and it will make it much easier to hit your goal. The last part of focus is this idea of what I call the athlete's advantage. Most of the time as founders, we're in motion. We're just doing stuff. And what I've learned from studying athletes is athletes don't do that. Athletes make moves. A move is going from one place to another. And you have to learn how to do this. And by the way, this doesn't come natural to most founders. It is something you have to learn. If you really look at it, there's a lot of stuff that you're doing that isn't moving your business forward. You need to be focused on things that move your business forward. And so just be honest with yourself. Are you in motion, like you're doing stuff, or are you making moves? And if your business isn't moving forward, more than likely what you're doing is stuff and it's not really moving you forward. So what does that mean is moves are effort with intention. I'm doing this webinar today so that I can introduce 28 of you to Shifco. That's my intention. It's a move that I'm making. There's no strings attached. It's a move that I'm making. Yesterday, I did a networking event. I went to the networking event. I said, I'm going to meet 5 people and I'm going to walk away with 3 good connections. I ended up meeting 7 and walked away with 3 good connections. So that's what I mean by it's an effort with intention. If you're just going to things and showing up, you're in motion. But if you're really setting an intention, that's when you know it's a move. Moves are measurable. Like I set goals. I'm like, okay, I want to have 20 people or more on the webinar, and I'm going to introduce them to Shipco. Yesterday, I told you I went to the networking event. I want to meet X number of people and walk away with X contacts. So they should be measurable. It should be intentional. It should be purposeful. That's what we mean by focused. And I have these kind of daily do's that are moves that I'm making in my business. I'm either reaching out to contacts to learn more about them, going to networking events, being on a podcast, doing webinars. I know the moves that are intentional that I love to do. And then you just dedicate time each day. They're on my calendar. It's the first thing that I do. And then I'm asking myself, did this action move me towards my goal? Okay, last but not least is this was my hardest lesson to learn is the business grows as we evolve. I wanted it to be easy. I thought it would be easy. And lo and behold, that is not the case. What happens is we transform in the process of the business growing. It was the hardest thing for me to learn, is that, I have to live what I'm preaching. I have to live my own purpose before my business actually grows. I have to change. I have to learn these things that I talked about today. All 5 of those were hard lessons for me to learn. They cost me money. I made mistakes, failure after failure after failure. But I kept growing and I kept learning because I knew what I was doing really mattered. So you got to look at your stuff. Conscious entrepreneurship is you are accountable to your purpose and you're accountable to yourself. So you got to look at your stuff. And what I mean by stuff is what are your beliefs about your abilities? You got to challenge them. You are more capable than you believe. What are you going to do about that? If you play small, you will have small income. If you learn how to play at your level of worth, your worth and your income will grow. Secondly, what are your beliefs about business? If you think business is bad and profit is bad, you're not going to make it. You're going to struggle. You've got to learn how to balance purpose and profit. You also have to challenge your beliefs about your own self-worth. That was my biggest thing, is deep down inside, I didn't have the strength of self-worth that I have today. And then most importantly, you have to challenge your beliefs about money. The irony is most conscious founders were either like me, they had made a lot of money and they started this purposeful business and then they couldn't find the balance, or they rejected the world of business and profit, started a business thinking it wasn't about business and money, and lo and behold, it is. So you have to really challenge these areas of yourself. And the quicker you challenge yourself and the more you challenge yourself and the more that you realize you're growing into the CEO that you want to be, you're standing on those failures and you're becoming that purposeful CEO. The more you do that, the quicker you will get there. So 3 ways that we can support you. Number 1, if you think you might be ready to join Shifco, just send me an email. My email address is there, and I'll give you what we call the Inside Shifco sample. And it will be a way to kind of sample what it is that we do. Secondly, I offer everybody here a free coaching session, no strings attached. I just want to support you in your growth and impact. And I've got a suite of ninja tools and I offer that free, no strings attached. If that would be beneficial, they'll drop my calendar in. And then lastly is continue to attend as many events as you want. There is no catch to that. We are really here to spread this idea that business can be a force for good. And I love when people who've attended a lot of our events bring other people along with you, and because that's how we grow. So you're welcome to do that. So, three different ways that we'll support you with no strings attached. Reminder of upcoming events. And I will stop here in a minute and we can have some people introduce themselves and ask questions. Success Accelerator will go deeper into that method that I shared with you today. And then authentic selling. If you're struggling with the lead generation and the selling piece, I would highly encourage you to check that out. Again, you can attend any of those events for free. So that is purpose and profit. I want to